Hello everybody, welcome to today's webinar. We'll be covering receipt notes and dispatch notes in Prima and a few different ways in which you can manage and use the movements area in Prima. So if you've got any questions while or after the session, Steve Dennis will be on the live chat today, or we'll be hanging around after the session to take any questions as well. Okay, so first of all, when you first log into Prima, as most of you will know, the dashboard is the area where you can see all your figures throughout the system. So in terms of receipts and dispatch notes, you can see straight away the available receipt lines, so what may be on back order, what's outstanding in the receipt notes area, and also what's in transit on your dispatch notes as well. So you can click through to those areas, otherwise you go to movements and through to receipts. Okay, so in terms of how receipt lines can land at the receipts stage, so for example, you put your sales order on for your customer, it then goes through the purchasing stages, and then it will fall onto your goods in, also known as receipts. So this is then when you're confirming from your suppliers for Spices, Avow and Antalis, you're confirming orders from your supplier. So scenario could be a standard delivery has been placed with your suppliers, you're expecting it in the next day, and what you can do, so from the purchasing stage, when you click purchase to send your purchase order through to your supplier, there's an option to either automatically build a receipt note, which would then be a receipt note within this area here. So if I just search for an outstanding receipt, so there you can see outstanding receipt notes that are generated. So that could be automatically created from the purchase order, or if you untick the option within the purchase order, it'll go into your available lines, otherwise known as kind of your back orders list as well. It can be. So scenario when lines are in your available lines, it could be either when you've done your purchasing, you've unticked the auto build receipt note, so then that'll just go into your available lines, or it could be the scenario that you place an electronic order with your supplier, the acknowledgement they've sent back via EDI could be the next day it is not possible, and they're going to be putting it to be next Wednesday or something like that, for example. So that then go into your back orders list, which is your available lines here. So you can search and view when the expected delivery date is. So for example, there's a view in here, it's just a test database, but you could see if it was July or something, June, that'll be then in your back orders list because the delivery date is in the future rather than in the past. So if that was the case, so it's on your back orders list, you can go in there, create your note. Okay, so yeah, we're happy with this was on back order, but now we need to create it, put it onto a receipt note. You can build your receipt note and then go through and check that out. So if we open the receipt note, from there then you can see the information with it. So you can see when it's created, who it's been created by, if it's been completed, what the receipt date is, who it's been completed by, and you can see references such as purchase order number, when the expected delivery date is, etc, etc. So you can see there what's the quantity ordered, what's to be confirmed once this receipt note is completed, again the expected delivery date and everything there as well. So you can double click on the line, or you can click on the lines tab there, and that'll take you through to the line. So you may have multiple lines on your receipt note, and say for example you've created this receipt note but you've not actually received it, and you wanted to put it back into your back orders list. You can highlight the line and click delete, or you can amend the quantity that you receive. So you may have only received one, so you can say, right, okay, well I want to receive in one, and then send the other two back into available lines. So when that's completed, the other two on that quantity will go back into your available lines. So that's that for dispatch. So what you can also do with outstanding receipt notes, if I just search for outstanding now, you can see there as well when the expected delivery date is. So this could be a direct delivery to the supplier, so from the supplier, sorry, to your customer. So if we look at these ones here, so these are direct deliveries because they're not coming receipted into to your stock, the headquarters. This is going to this particular company. So you can see there it's going to receipt to location code of Ollie 10 HQ. So if I just open that receipt note, and then what you can do within your receipts as well is check the links against it. So by clicking into the line, you can see what that line is linked to, so what sales order, dispatch note, etc. it's linked to. So you can see there straight away it's on a dispatch note 10337, and that's currently outstanding. So in terms of completing your receipt notes and what effect that will have, if it's a direct delivery and you complete the receipt note, that will automatically complete the dispatch note. That's because the system will think, right, okay, well, you've confirmed that the supplier's delivered the item to your customer. That'll then filter through and complete your dispatch note accordingly. If it was the case that it's a standard delivery, so if we go a couple down here to the one that's going to be receipted into headquarters, this is going to be received into your business. You would then say, right, okay, well, if I just open that receipt note, happy lines on there, you can complete it within the receipt note, or you can complete it within the grid as well. So you can do it in a batch if you wanted to. So if I completed that, then it would then be my job to go in there and produce the delivery note for that particular receipt note or sales order, however you like it. So for example, if I open the dispatch notes area, and if I search for, so clicking on your coloured bar, you can bring down further search criteria. You can see there what status you're looking for. So if you wanted to look for a previous dispatch note, looking for one you may have dispatched today and you just need to print off another copy of it, you can click on the dispatched, do a search, and then print out from there. So if we look at all current, so we just want to have a look for that outstanding one I was just referring to, and if I just type in Ollie there for that test company, and then you can see there these two direct delivery orders. So these two dispatch notes here, they're relating to the receipt note here for the direct delivery. So as soon as I complete one of these, so as you can see within here, there's 3 dispatch notes currently outstanding. If I complete, for example, this Spices one, complete that, save and close. Ooh. Save and close that. Goes to the goods out, and then this will then be reduced to 2. So that's just basically the effect that completing a receipt note for a direct delivery would have. If it was the scenario that it was, let's look for one in the list. We use this one. Okay, so this one is relating to, yeah, perfect. Okay, so this isn't relating to any dispatch note yet. It's currently in available lines. So if I complete that now, so KF24001 for VOW, and then go to your goods out, and then from here, as it's not yet on a dispatch note, you need to create it. So that's then when the available lines come into play again. Search for that, and you can see there's that KF24001 for that particular company. So you can then go into there, create the notes. That'll produce your dispatch note. So if I just open a dispatch note, you'll then see all your information on it. So you can see references if you want to type in there, any notes against the dispatch note, such as delivered to a certain floor or anything like that. So that can pull through from your location within the company as well, which I'll go through shortly. And if I just open the dispatch note line, what you can do as well, so if you didn't want to produce the delivery note yet and you wanted to put that back into available lines, you can use the delete icon to delete the line, and that will go back into then your available lines section to be created onto another dispatch note. You can also tick the option to return to stock. So for example, this company doesn't want this item and you're just going to put it back into your stock. You can tick that, and when you progress the dispatch note, the quantity of 2 for this item would then go back into stock rather than going through the system and through to invoicing for this particular company. So for example, if I tick return to stock there, click dispatch, that's then the 2 quantity for this particular item into stock. If you wanted to only send part of the stock, part of this item into stock, for example, so 1, you'd tick the return to stock, you'd change it to 1, save that. Okay, as this is a direct delivery dispatch note, you can't change on this one, but if it was a standard delivery dispatch note, you'd overtype the quantity, that would change to 1. When you dispatch it, that would then send 1 for invoicing, and it'd send the other 1 to stock. So that's just how that could work in terms of part delivering the items as well, and sending it into stock too. Okay, let's have a look. So adding more lines from dispatch as well. So if I just open one that's a standard delivery, would probably be better. Okay, yeah, so within the dispatch note, if for example this company has placed another order today, and rather than sending out 2 delivery notes, you'd rather just collate it onto the same one. So what you can do there is your available items within this dispatch note looks directly into available lines, and you can then say, right, okay, well, for this company I want to add some more lines onto it. So if I click on available items, any items that are available to be put onto a delivery note. So for this company there's none at the moment, but if there were, you'd highlight the lines, click add items, and then they then feed through to your dispatch note as well. Okay, in terms of printing out the report or emailing the dispatch notes, you can do it from this report tab here. So you can go into the report tab, and then from there you can view your report, print the report, email it to yourself or the customer, whatever it may be, or save it as a PDF copy. So you can do that from within each individual dispatch note. You can flick through, or you can do it in a batch if you wanted to as well. So you can highlight your dispatch notes, click print or email, and that will then prompt you with the box, and then you can then go ahead and do whichever's necessary. Okay. Also, if there's any shortages, for example, from your supplier, so it's gone onto your dispatch note, it's on your receipt note, and you're wanting to delete those off. So, for example, if I open this standard delivery, for example, tip X here, it's no longer required. The customer said they don't want it or whatever, and the supplier's not actually delivered it. You can go into here, highlight the line, click delete, and then remove it off the dispatch note. From there, then you can go through, so you can see that it's changed to a quantity of 0, and you can, once that's dispatched, that'll update. You can go through to your receipt note, so you can link through, go into the receipt note and delete it from there as well. So going back to what I was saying earlier, you can amend the quantities on the receipt notes as well. So just going back into there, so if I just open this one, for example, quantity of 1, let's see if there's any more with a quantity of 4, for example. So on this one, you can open it up, change that to 2, so I've actually only received 2 of this item, save that. Okay, test database, so it's actually attached to a manifest as well. So if it wasn't attached to a manifest, you can type over the quantity received, save that, complete it, and then the other two here would then go into available lines on effectively your back order list, if you like. In terms of actually producing your receipt notes, you can do it. You can go through by supplier. So, for example, you've had a delivery from Val this morning. You may want to look at just Val for the moment because you don't want to complete anything from Spices. You can go through then and say, right, okay, well, happy with the ones from Val, complete those, and then when you get your delivery from Spices or Antalis, wherever it may be, you can go through it that way as well. So that's the way you can manipulate the grid and search for different receipts in there as well. So you can search on the status. So if you've completed one, perhaps today, so if I just do date receipted today, you can go back and have a look at, okay, well, that's what's been receipted in today. You can also do it by sales order, by product code. You can search on the receipt notes that have been created by a particular user. So there's various different ways in which you can complete receipt notes, and likewise when you're using your back orders as well. So going through, so it may be Val, for example. You may want to have a look at a certain date created and everything. Otherwise, you can just do a search, and then all the items for Val. Sort on expected delivery date. So those that are in the future, you may not want to look at yet, and just go through those that way. And you can see if you scroll across to the right, the types of delivery as well, and also what order number it's relating to too. Okay, what you can do in the company area is update the locations for the delivery types as well. So if I just open up a company record, okay, and I'll just open one of the locations. So there's a few different settings you can have against the location as well. So if we look at the tick box option first, so dispatch full orders only. So that basically means you can't progress a dispatch note until all items are on the dispatch note. So that prevents a scenario of having a dispatch note that has an items to follow on that dispatch note. So you want to always produce the dispatch note when the full stock is available to the customer. Whether you want delivery charges to apply, so that's coming on to something separate, but you can set delivery charges against the particular location, which will feed through to the sales order and come through as a charge on there. And then delivery option 2. So from here you can say, right, okay, well, I want to allow consolidated dispatch notes for this customer. So for this location rather. So what that basically means is if there's 2 sales orders on the system, rather than it going onto onto 2 dispatch notes, allow consolidated allows you just to put it onto the one. You've also got the single dispatch require back orders. So that's just making sure when you produce your dispatch note, all the back orders are on that dispatch note before you can produce it. And then single dispatch ignore back orders allows you just to do your usual dispatch notes, but individual ones rather than allowing consolidated. So if there was 2 sales orders on, there would be 2 dispatch notes, and ignore whether there's back orders on there as well. So it'd let you go through and just do as many dispatch notes as required, as and when the stock is available for them. Okay, so that's with the locations, and you've also got a delivery type as well, so you can set certain delivery types against them. So rather than having to set each time against a sales order, that'll filter through to your dispatch and receipts area too. Okay, just going over again how to actually print out the dispatch notes. What you can do, so you can search on customer, you can search on particular status, when it was created, so you may want to have a look at everything that's created today and then do it that way. So highlight those, print out your notes, so we click on print or email. You can amend the copy, so you may want to have 2 copies, one for yourself, one for the customer, or whatever it may be, and then you can start your jobs, select in printer or email, send it to a particular printer, and then you can also amend the report if you want to, if you've got customised reports on your system, and you can also view it before doing so. There's also an option for a label generator, so if you use labels and you've got a label printer, what you can do here, so if I click on the label generator option here, you can then go through and generate the label. So if I just have a look at, so it's 10336, so I refresh that, I can produce a label for this particular dispatch note. So I can say, right, okay, well I want just the one label on this one. The weight is whatever it may be, so 1.5 for example. Label info, so if I just type in test, you can create your labels this way, click create, and then that's then a label against that particular dispatch note. When I hit print, that'll send that label to your label printer, wherever it may be. So let's click on print. That'll then prompt you with the option where to send it to, and then you can send it to your label printer. So from here, you don't want to send it to your A4 printer, send it to your label one, click OK, and then that'll then produce your label accordingly. So if you were doing a batch of dispatch note numbers, you would need to go through individually and produce your labels before printing. Okay, just to summarise the session then, so coming back to your dashboard screen, so you can see in terms of managing your receipt notes and dispatch notes, the key kind of thing I'd suggest is definitely having your dashboard tile set up here, so you can see before actually going into the areas what's kind of outstanding job wise to conduct in the system. So you can see, right, okay, well I've got 5 outstanding receipt notes, I've got a delivery coming from Spices, I can go through there and have a look and update that. Likewise with your dispatch notes, if they've not been run off yet, you can go into your dispatch notes area, see the 13 that are in transit, and then accordingly highlight and print them out, or whatever it is you need to do. Sort by dispatch note number. There's various different ways in which you can manage your dispatch notes and receipt notes in terms of completing them, deleting them if there's a shortage from the supplier. So that's everything basically I wanted to go through today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask on the live chat. Myself and Steve will be hanging around for a few minutes. If you're interested in one-to-one training, contact training@primasoftware.co.uk or speak to myself on the phone on 0151 423 8522. Okay, I hope you all have a good bank holiday weekend and hopefully see you all next week. Thank you.